Player safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected.
Stephanie White, I've been a defender, the coach of the Fever. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Fire her ass today. I don't want her back on that bench. Stop defending the other players. Oh, she plays hard, DJ. That's just her being her. You see Caitlin in the press conference almost cover her ears and her eyes. Defend your players. First of all, you're wrong. It was a dirty play. She's gone. But when do you ever see in like the NBA a coach not defend their own players? She hasn't done it with Caitlin when Caitlin got punched in the throat.
At some point, repeated incidents stop looking like isolated bad luck and start raising legitimate questions about a player's style of play. That is exactly what happened with DJonai Carrington just days after her controversial ejection against Sophie Cunningham. Only 4 days later, Carrington returned to the court against the Golden State Valkyries, and the game quickly produced another wave of controversy. She was involved in 2 separate plays where her hands made contact with opposing players in ways that immediately drew attention. One incident involved Cecilia Zandalicini, with contact around the eye, while another saw Tiffany Hayes take contact around the mouth. 2 different opponents. 2 separate sequences. One game, that was enough for fans to begin questioning whether these were simply unfortunate basketball moments or part of a larger pattern. After everything that had already happened with Cunningham, the latest incidents were viewed through a much more skeptical lens.
That's a flagrant 2 every single damn time in the NBA and the WNBA. But you know things have devolved when you've got the Attorney General for the state of Florida saying that's why WNBA games ain't here, because guess what? We are the prosecutor. Attorney General James Uthmeyer, the WNBA knows better than to play games down here in Florida, because I'll be charging people with assault. I should probably clarify. Assault and battery. That is from the Attorney General of the state of Florida. Y'all see what happened when this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham? Did y'all see that? She got ejected from the game for that flagrant foul right there, and I'll be damned if that wasn't a flagrant 2. She mugged her. Damn near came across like decapitating her, for crying out loud. That was definitely a hard foul. Make no mistake about it, nobody can argue about it. You can say what you want. We know what we saw. No way around it. The DJonai Carrington foul was clearly unnecessary. It was a flagrant foul penalty 2. It was absolutely positively correct call.
The first incident happened while Carrington was defending Zandalicini on the perimeter. Her right hand appeared to be reaching toward the ball, but as both arms came up, her left arm moved across and made direct contact with Zandalicini around the eye. The contact immediately caught attention because of where it landed, even though the play itself was not ruled a flagrant. Later in the same game, another physical sequence raised eyebrows. Hayes drove toward the basket for a layup, with Carrington moving alongside her to contest the attempt. As the 2 players went up, Carrington's arm came down and made contact with Hayes around the mouth rather than making a clear play on the ball. Neither sequence resulted in a flagrant or a technical for Carrington. She did, however, receive a technical earlier in the 3rd quarter after arguing with an official. That detail added another layer to the discussion, because Carrington was already visibly frustrated and involved in an exchange with the referee before the 2 later contact plays became part of the
We will go high. Love, grace, humility will win. And then you tell everybody to go to hell. You think that's gonna work for you, Coach White? Think that's gonna work for you? The reality of the situation is none of that stuff will win if it's left up to you, Stephanie White. Because you're not handling it right. You playing right into their hands. Right into their hands.
You're wrong, but it starts to make me think you care more about the overlying social issues and not pissing off other people in the league and saying men can play in the league, because she's one of those players. Coaches, when asked, always is taking the far left side of it. This isn't politics. Your player got assaulted. Defend your player in the press conference. Be like, yeah, that was a dirty play. She should have hit the showers. She acts like she's the coach of the other team. I don't care if she's the best X's and O's, which she's not. Get her the hell out of there.
The reason these latest incidents are receiving so much attention is because Carrington is not an inexperienced player still adjusting to the pace and physicality of the WNBA. She is a veteran with 6 seasons behind her, experience with multiple teams, and a previous incident that many fans still remember. During the 2024 playoffs, Carrington made contact with Caitlin Clark around the eye. At the time, Clark said she did not believe the contact was intentional, while Carrington also rejected the idea that she would deliberately target someone's eye. With no clear evidence of intent, the incident largely became a matter of interpretation, and Carrington was given the benefit of the doubt, but repeated incidents inevitably change how people view the next one. A single awkward contact can happen in a physical sport. Another can still be dismissed as coincidence. But when multiple incidents involve contact around the face, particularly during intense defensive sequences, people naturally
that Stephanie is stuck in is she knows DJonai is a good person, but now she's coaching people who are likely taking money from the Heritage Foundation, has a large MAGA racist fan base, and they didn't like that she defended DJonai.
Take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players
This is the dumbest coach I've ever seen. Love, grace, humility, integrity. And you can go to hell if you don't love, grace, and integrity who I want. She is the dumbest human being to ever coach a professional sport. I say love wins. I will always have their back, except you didn't with Alyssa Thomas, except you didn't with DJonai Carrington, except you didn't going back, except you never have. Hell, you're so stupid you can't even tell us what a woman is.
What makes the situation even more frustrating for some fans is that Carrington is clearly capable of being an impactful player without all the controversy surrounding her. Her defensive ability is a major reason teams continue to value her. She has the athleticism, length, instincts, and anticipation to defend multiple positions, and her ability to create steals has consistently made her a disruptive presence on the floor. There is also a reason she has received recognition for her improvement as a player. Her talent has never really been the central question. Even people criticizing her recent incidents can acknowledge that she brings legitimate defensive value and plays an important role when she is locked in. The concern is what happens when aggressive defense crosses the line into unnecessary contact. Athletic ability can explain why a player gets into position quickly or makes a difficult defensive play, but it cannot automatically excuse repeated incidents involving dangerous contact, and that is the frustrating part of the current conversation.
Plenty of chances to come out with a statement like this and chose not to come out with a statement like this. But when she saw that her job was in jeopardy, after the Lieutenant Governor of Indiana came out with that statement, after she came out to say that she believed that the play between DJonai Carrington and Sophie Cunningham wasn't intentional, when she came out with that statement and she saw how those fans reacted to her saying that, how the Governor of Indiana came out saying how she spoke about that, now she wants to make a statement. Now she wants to try to flip her words and say that, oh, she didn't see video clips and see.
To understand why the Valkyries game drew so much attention, you have to go back to the incident that set the entire controversy in motion. Just 4 days earlier, Carrington had been at the center of one of the most heavily debated fouls of the season. Cunningham was already airborne on a fast break attempt when Carrington approached from behind. As Cunningham went up for the layup, Carrington's arm came across the upper part of her body, making significant contact around the head and neck and sending her crashing to the floor. Officials initially ruled the play a flagrant 1, but after reviewing the footage, they upgraded the call to a flagrant 2, resulting in Carrington's automatic ejection. The review focused on factors including the nature of the motion, the force of the contact, and the follow-through. That decision became the foundation for everything that followed. Once Carrington was ejected, the discussion moved beyond a single defensive play and into a much larger debate about physicality, player safety, intent, and how the league should respond when aggressive defense crosses the line.
Not embracing the reality of the tense situation that the WNBA, and especially you as the coach of the Indiana Fever, is involved in. There are folks in Indiana at a home game booing you. You ain't the road team, you the home team, you the home coach, and they booing you. And Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark can speak up for you all they want to, as they did, and as they should have.
The situation became even more heated in the seconds that followed. Cunningham quickly got back to her feet and moved toward Carrington, forcing players and officials from both teams to step in before the confrontation could escalate. That reaction later became part of the discussion when reporters questioned why Cunningham was not assessed a technical foul. The officiating crew explained that, considering the severity of the original contact, they viewed Cunningham's immediate response as understandable and did not believe it warranted additional punishment. That clarification added another layer to the controversy. Officials were essentially saying that Cunningham's reaction had to be judged in the context of what had just happened to her. It didn't settle the debate over Carrington's intent, but it did reinforce how seriously the officials viewed the original contact after reviewing the play.
Believe that Stephanie White deserves to be fired. I don't care about the injury excuse. I think that's what they're going to use to keep her for another year, which they will, because they're like, well, look at the injuries. See, she couldn't do her job. That's what they're going to do. And most likely 99% she'll be back. But honestly, the job she did, she deserves to get fired. She does. Let me tell you why. Number one, poor roster and cover for Bonner. To me, that alone should get her fired.
Now look at the sequence of events, because that is where the criticism really starts to build. Carrington came off the bench and scored 8 points in just 4 minutes before being ejected in the opening quarter following a foul that officials ultimately upgraded to a flagrant 2. Then, only 4 days later, she was involved in 2 separate incidents involving contact with opponents' faces during the same game. That timeline has led some fans to argue that these are no longer isolated moments. Their concern is that Carrington's aggressive style may repeatedly be taking her into situations where the line between physical defense and dangerous contact becomes blurred. Another part of the conversation has centered on Carrington's career path. One widely shared social media post questioned her long-term trajectory by pointing to the number of teams she has moved through in a relatively short period. The post listed several organizations that had moved on from her and used that history to suggest that teams were repeatedly deciding not to keep her around. The exact framing of that post may be exaggerated, but the underlying transaction history is still worth separating from the social media commentary. Carrington was drafted by Connecticut in 2021, later moved to Dallas in 2024, then became part of Minnesota's roster before eventually landing in Chicago on a 1-year deal. So rather than relying on a viral tweet to make the argument, the more relevant question is what those roster moves
needs to be fired. The ESPN analysts that hate Caitlin Clark said it all. It's the sisterhood. And the sisterhood is Stephanie White's team. That's where most of the dramas came from in Caitlin Clark's, now Sophie Cunningham's career. Stephanie White just defended DJonai Carrington's, whatever you want to call it, assault attack on Sophie Cunningham. She defended Alyssa Thomas's fist to the throat and made Alyssa Thomas out to be the victim.
Player movement by itself does not tell the whole story. Teams make changes for countless reasons, including roster construction, injuries, coaching preferences, contracts, and rebuilding plans. So it would be a mistake to automatically interpret every transaction in Carrington's career as evidence that organizations wanted to move away from her. Still, the recent pattern has become part of the discussion because of everything happening around her at the same time. The criticism is not simply about how many teams she has played for, it is about whether her value as an aggressive, athletic defender consistently outweighs the controversy that can come with that style. The 1-year contract in Chicago has also become a talking point, although even that should not be treated as definitive proof of anything. A short-term deal can reflect many factors and does not automatically mean a team lacks confidence in a player. At most, it gives Chicago flexibility while allowing both sides to evaluate the fit. Meanwhile, the original Cunningham incident created an entirely different problem. Carrington's social media post shifted much of the public conversation away from the basketball question and toward race, officiating, and intent. That meant the debate over the actual play became intertwined with a much larger cultural argument. Then, within days, 2 more controversial contacts occurred in another game. That timing is why the pressure on Carrington.
Stephanie White is getting absolutely worked today. Wow, it's bad. Do you know how bad you must be? Do you know how unfavorable you must? Do you know how out of touch you must be with your fan base, with your state, to where the lieutenant governor of your own state is demanding